And maybe even just, a good job to the balance team to show that maybe the Guardian Druid, while taking some hits on ladder, is still showcasing why it can be a pretty powerful tournament deck still.
Yeah. We've still seen it struggle a lot across Grandmasters this week. It looks like it's struggling for kind of the same reasons that it's always struggled. Just the Guardian's Animals nerf kind of pushes that over the edge a little bit. The deck has always relied on drawing ramp, and when it doesn't draw ramp, the deck just looks pretty bad. But now even more so does it rely on drawing ramp. So Killinallday even going to keep a Lightning Bloom, make sure that if he does draw Guardian Animals, he can get that up faster. What? Oh yeah, now that's a hand. That's a big boy hand right there.
Nice. Just needs to find a little bit more to it. If he finds...
Keep it coming.
One overgrowth, TJ. For now, Killen doesn't have... he has no other plays besides that, so... Muzzy might just get some free reign to do whatever he wants on the board. Muzzy, of course, at 5-1, the only player right now to have 5 wins to his name in all of GM for Americas. And, we actually don't really see too many people hit, we don't actually see too many players separating themselves from the pack. In Asia Pacific and Europe, there's a lot of people that actually ended up with 5 wins or 6 wins. But for Americas, it seems like it's very tightly contested around that 3 to 4 win mark. Muzzy, the only player to do so, could also, guaranteed to be the only player to go to 6 wins. And it's looking like he's on a good path to it when he sees Killinallday hero powering for 2 turns in a row. Feral Druid, hero power attack face.
Yes!
Get him.
Muzzy's like, you have not proven to me that you can do anything. But Killen says, I can at least kill that. I wonder if it was worth, waiting. I guess not. Just put him to the test. A Speaker Ginger or Crystal Power. Those are, the only ways that Killen could deal with this on curve. Without using, extra resources, like Lightning Bloom, Beast, Broomstick.
Bears. Beats. Broomsticks.
We're just missing some beats in this matchup. We have the bears, we have the broomsticks.
Of the vegetable kind or of the music kind?
It was never specified.
Question.
What makes something real?
All right. So, finds Anubisath or Captain Greenskin, neither of which well, actually, with the Speaker Gidra on board, that does introduce some interesting elements behind it.
Yeah.
If you choose the Captain Greenskin, you kind of open yourself up to maybe having Greenskin get targeted by another spell, and then Speaker Gidra can kill off the taunt minion, but I think it's still relatively straightforward here.
Okay, I was gonna say Shadow Step. I don't feel like lackeys are impactful enough to hold on to Shadow Step for Evil Miscreant. I was thinking Cold Neophyte, but ooh, Guardian Animals. I was just thinking you go Lightning Bloom, Innervate. Sure. Oh no, you can't do that. You're 1 mana off. Okay, Lightning Bloom, Innervate, Guardian Animals. Fine. Meh. Meh.
Oh wow, the Lake Thresher comes out, and the ability for Killen to be able to kill off both of them. And Muzzy is behind on board now. So all of a sudden, despite the fact that Killen started off really slow, Muzzy getting a little bit, a little bit slow set up on his side too. Kind of led himself to having to answer a big board state. You can kind of see Muzzy leaning back and kind of wondering how it got to this point. He looked like he was in such a good position. All of a sudden, it looks like he is not.
Yeah, especially since it's just like impossible now for him to get back on board. Right? Like
What makes something
anything he plays just gets eaten up by the Lake Thresher.
Right.
Ooh. Ooh. That's good. None of these
Okay.
die to, well, the illusion one dies, but
quickly?
doesn't die to just Lake Thresher. So
Right. So with this, he's able to fight back onto the board. Killen can't really play anything.
Oh, the cold
he
neophyte,
wants
so clutch.
to. Yeah. That's a nice Cult Neophyte.
What to do?
So Muzzy put the cold neophyte in between the Janus and the Waxadread, which leads me to believe that the Waxadread is the meaning that's illusion, but maybe there's some mind games there because Muzzy could just trade into Janus first, and then with the Speaker Gidra, and then a tactical neophyte with Lake Thresher. But maybe that's what he wants. Maybe it's the Ogremancer that's illusioned after all. No.
Time waits for no one.
Nah, the mind games worked. But, it's okay. Killen can take that damage and still push in. You can see that the investment at the Janna tempo hasn't really exactly paid off here. So, right now, Muzz is still behind on the board more than he'd like.
Yeah.
I never lie, but I never tell the truth.
Oh, misdirection. Misdirection's very interesting.
Yes, particularly with things like the Lake Thresher, which I think is extra fun to think about.
Never surrender, just kind of a cheap way to start this again. Buzzy's facial expression, just like, ooh, this is cool. Hearthstone's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. Man, this is still looking like, from Killen's side,
I wonder.
if it is explosive trap or something like that, you have to plan around that.
Test
Okay.
for pressure plate.
What
That test for pressure play, and he does have the ability to also play around the explosive trap.
Time waits for no one.
And he sees the
Hit
misdirection.
his face.
Oh, it's the face. Oh. Muzzy was really hoping for an opportunity to see it go back to another minion instead. And he gets punished for it, and this is a really, really bad spot. Now Muzzy seems like he is completely cornered.
Yep. Survival of the fittest online for next turn. And he's got to deal with these minions or put enough disruption in the way with Shadow Jeweler Hanar.
Yeah.
But he's got a free Shadow Jeweler Hanar. He's got a 1 mana secret to start. Also has prep. Means he can get like a free rogue secret. Freezing trap. Okay. I wonder if you like secret passage here and look for blackjack stunners. Try and solidify the board position.
Yeah, I mean, that might be what he does, and because I don't think these evil miscreants are going to be doing enough, so he's going to go ahead and look into that secret passage. See if you can find those blackjack centers you mentioned.
Quickly.
Right. Finds another card that you can use to activate Van Cleef. And is hoping to see no ability for his opponent to kill, and that's a big Van Cleef. Killinallday does have the survival, but he has to account for the secrets first.
That's an 18-18.
Yeah, it's a big Van Cleef.
So, okay, this test for surrender and pressure plate. Oh man, I mean, Bog Beam. Oh, the Waxadread.
Wow.
That's brutal because now he has to deal with both or he dies.
Yes.
Plus he just wins.
Well,
No. Yeah, now he wins.
yeah, now he wins. Well, wait. Does he kill it off
no.
through the Bog Beam?
He doesn't win because he's got to get through the taunt. But he has Secret Blackjack Center. Yep, Muzzy just won.
Ah, wow. Van Cleef. Edwin Van Cleef. What a unit. Game number one goes over to Muzzy. Muzzy doesn't... He looks like he can't even believe his own luck. He's like kind of giving the camera like an incredulous look. I don't know, man. That was what you did. We didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's so weird because it felt like, it kind of feels like even the games we're seeing Druid have these good starts with guardian animals, unless they also hit ramp prior to that and have meaningful follow-up, they just don't do anything for too many turns while they wait for survival of the fittest to come on.
Right.
So, and the fact that, you're more incentivized now to keep Lightning Bloom and Innervate because you need to get guardian animals out faster. If you keep Lightning Blooms and Innervates, and even if you hit guardian animals, you're not drawing follow-up or you're not drawing ramp. So it feels like a cascading effect.
Sure.
The nerf, right? Like the play style feels different because guardian animals comes out of Crimson Sword, not as clean.
Right.
But nicely done by Muzzy to kind of navigate that situation. Foresight view, Shadow Step to Hanar, realizing that even though Hanar plus Secrets is not usually the way you beat Druid because you holding a bunch of value and not impacting the board so much is usually suicide against a Druid that just can go all in and play a bunch of big minions, but finds the right secret, sees the right lines. Did get some good secrets, but also got unlucky with misdirection, where it could have just killed one of the other minions, and then he's not even in that situation to begin with, right? So, do like the play though, and Muzzy goes up 1-0. Now Muzzy will be playing the Temple Mage against Killinallday's Priest.
Temple Mage versus Priest has been very good so far for the mages on in Grandmasters. We have seen a lot of success come out of people who are able to get out onto the board very early, like the way Muzzy is against Killin right now. Killin finds the Sethic Veil Weaver on 2, but I don't know if he feels comfortable enough just to drop it here. Instead, going for the Mind Flayer cards to try and get that board presence. Muzzy does not have devolving missiles.
Can find
So
it.
without that in his, he can find it. He doesn't have it in his deck, but he can totally find it.
Okay, now he can't find it anymore. Yeah, was
Well, he still could. He just wouldn't be able to play it at this turn.
Oh yeah. You love to see it.
Necromancer Solarian. And Muzzy just ignores it, just recognizing that Priest probably is going to win the board from this point on because of Mind Flayer. What a card. So Mind Flayer does, it's very strong at being able to win back the board early. People like to make comparisons to Piloted Shredder.
Just with much higher upside.
Yes, a lot of upside.
Some may say absurd amounts. Absurd amounts. Upside. Third prime drawn.
What is with the Solarian Primes? They just keep finding their way into all the hands immediately.
Well, the real test will be how fast Killen draws his.
Right.
I guess you can Ray of Frost this. Maybe you can even pick up Devolving Missiles next turn. With,
Yeah, it seems like you
Magic
just...
Trick.
Yeah, it just seems like you do have to stall here because what's really important is the idea that you just don't want Mage to get, or Priest to be able to pick up these value trades, and you need to find a way to preserve your board to capitalize off of things like Raz. So maybe Muzzy's just in a holding pattern right now. So Muzzy was leaning towards maybe finding the Raz to play here, but it doesn't seem like it's 100% clean, but he can still remove some of the presence on the board. So I think Veil Weaver probably needs to die this turn. And we can sort of guarantee it.
We can, just by trading in the bot Spellwing. Then going face, but yeah, the damage is kind of negated by the fact that the Mind Flayer has lifesteal, at least the damage being dealt to face. I wonder how long Killen wants to keep this Mind Flayer around and not pop it open, just like to potentially have the ability for Solarian Prime to bail him out of a situation. That's kind of weird thinking, though, because like relying on a card that's not even in your deck originally to bail you out, like you should be able to rely on the cards that you actually decide to put in your deck to bail you out more so. But
right.
Oh wow, okay. The trade in plus the Cabal Acolyte Wave of Apathy ends up being way better because now he gets to put on a counter offensive.
Whew. The Raz able to shoot for 2, and now your Mage cards are my Mage cards. Thanks for the legendaries, bro. Muzzy looks for potential spell to turn things around, finds a Ray of Frost. Looks like he's going to dig deeper now. And
there's no payoff.
Lab Partner can clear a lot of this up, but it does cost a significant amount of resources.
I'm liking these tempo Sorcerer Apprentice less and less. Sorcerer Apprentice is so good. and throwing it out just to like
You don't take the water, silly.
gain a mild amount of tempo. Actually, not even. It's just gonna die. Right,
Yeah,
some
it does
Stewardess
feel
Scrolls.
pretty underwhelming. Kind of like watching all of these these mages like kind of send out their mages, and then you're like hoping for this big tempo swing, and like nothing happens, and then you lose your Sorcerer's Apprentice, and you're like, well, I wish I had the Sorcerer's Apprentice for a position like this, and you're just kind of stuck wanting.
Gift of Luminance on the Raz! Ay!
Looks good to me.
Just 4 damage to turn!
Yeah. Well, 2 damage twice.
Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah. Just want to be correct, TJ, that's all.
Yeah, I know. No, that important. Be accurate.
Yes.
I have become one.
5. Oh! It just flew out of his hand.
Solarian
dead.
prime time.
Oh!
Blizzard. Hexus Blast. Hexus Blast. Keen Breath. Wow.
And Arcane Missiles to clean it all up.
Yeah, that worked out magnificently.
Oh, it says explode.
Oh, okay, he's not going to kill off the Raz. I guess there's no real way for Killen to, like, benefit more off of Solarian Prime.
Right.
Or off of, Raz Frost Whisper, because he doesn't have any spell damage in the deck. You have to, like, dog steal it or something. Killen really hurting for resources. He's got a Soul Mirror to bail him out of, like, a Mana Giant turn, but other than that, there's not much going. Meanwhile, Muzzy's looking pretty good right about now.
Yeah, Muzzy feels like in his spot, he actually just can keep pushing the resource battle here and really send Killen into a position where like he has to go all in order to stabilize, and then he can just beat him with any card that sticks from that point on. So things look very solid right now for Killen, and pretty scary for Muzz. Or sorry, the other way around. Pretty good for Muzz. And so now from here, you just clear off the board and just like summon a E5/5. What is Killen? He has to like consider Soul Mirror in this position. But like at the same time, you don't really want to. It's like it's so weak. Just to get a bunch of one attack spell damage making on your side of the board.
Yeah, and Soul Mirror comes out. Makes way for Mana Giant Stewardess Scrolls to be the reload here. Well, Cleric of Scale is finally active. With the dragon pickup.
What does he want though? Renew? Okay.
Renew or Draconic Studies. If he thinks he's going to clear the board, there's no minions left. He wants to find a better way to be proactive, but Renew is like the best all-around choice, I suppose.
I wonder.
But Draconic Studies feels like it has the highest upside. You have Wave of Apathy in hand. If you get like a Murs on, it means you can follow up to a big play and then Wave of Apathy to gain tempo. That's like the super high upside play I can see happening.
Right. It definitely does feel like that right now, where you have to kind of be a little bit more optimistic right now if you're in Killen's spot, because you just don't really. There's just not a lot of ways you can reasonably try to beat the mage on the board with tempo here. I think you have to hope that you can get a lot of value on some of these big cards. So he is going to go for it. Evocation, Pyroblast, and Icicle.
How much damage is he pushing this turn? Because that could make Pyroblast much more enticing. No one has to deal with the board and heal. I don't think it's enough to warrant the Pyroblast. I think it's probably just Evocation every time, but... Alright, never mind. So he's pushing 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's a lot of spell damage on the board, though.
Yep. 3 extra missiles, so you have 6 goes, or 5 goes to phase after killing the cleric, and now you can just push with the rest, with the Pyroblast ready to go. Muzzy looks ready to lock in for a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, because if Soul Mirror comes out here, Muzzy has enough damage on the board plus the Pyroblast to win still.
Right.
So, nice plays, nice little plays there. Evocation, a lot of players are like, oh wow, Evocation. It's a lot of value. Oh, and you can set up almost a certain 2-turn lethal. That's almost always better.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 2-turn lethal here setup is really powerful because he has the Pyroblast, but I mean, in this case, Killen's going to be pretty much just restricted to clearing off as much as he can with that Soul Mirror. And you can see the big attempt to come back onto the board. Not going to really work out here.
Yep, 2-0.
And that's going to do it. So Muzzy goes up 2-0. The Pyroblast able to end it, and that's going to be a match point. Muzzy 1 game away from getting a 6-1 record. Killinallday, you know, he's at 3-3. A loss here just kind of puts him in that drawing hat of like who gets that 7th seed alongside Bloodyface. Because right now we have Monsanto and Eddie at 3-4. And Killinallday could potentially join them, as well as Saiyan at 3-4. So we could have a ton of people trying to fight for that 7th place spot or better, right? They're not really fighting for it. You're trying to avoid it. And it's looking bad right now. But we have come down to Priest a lot, TJ. People are trying to see if they can corner Priest with some of their lineups. Priest seems to be a weak point in a lot of people's lineup right here. And Muzzy, once again, going to turn to his control Priest. See if he can get that done.
Yeah, last deck left for him, and wonder what Killen's going to try and play first. I would probably try and play the worst matchup into it, which Killen doesn't have too many bad matchups. I guess Druid. You know, most of the players seem to have this agreement where they only play the Priest Mirror if they absolutely have to, which means if it goes to Game 5, which is why our Game 5 seemed to be Priest Mirrors.
My beloved.
Yep, Druid it is for Killinallday. And yeah, I've kind of been parroting it for much of the weekend, but it does just feel like, you know, another matchup against Priest where the nerf to Guardian Animals does affect you. Because before, you could stop their tempo in its tracks with a relatively early Guardian Animals, but now you really give the Priest opportunities to take control and snowball the board. And if they do that, then it's hard for the Druid to gain back the board. At least gain back the board, then push for a win, because the Priest has the board. They don't have to use their big removal tools.
Right.
Soul Mirror. So, Overgrowth in the hand for Killen, though. That's a good start. Oh, wow. Double Cleric of Scales with a Cobalt Spellkin, though.
It's pretty solid.
Wings of destruction they come.
The Cleric of Scales get you the immediate spell. You can go for a Draconic Studies. Find a way to tempo out even further. Everything looks pretty good so far for Muzzy. And, you know, we kind of talked about how Priest might be something to be concerned about, but not with this kind of opening hand. It looks pretty solid to me.
On wings of destruction they come.
Finds another opportunity for Draconic Studies or the Apotheosis. Picks up Raise It, actually, which makes sense so he can keep getting more spells with the Cleric of Scale, which does seem to be a really common thing we see.
The infinite value train.
That's
It's
right.
not infinite, but it does kind of feel like that sometimes. You just get to pull so many spells from your deck, which honestly, having those tools to react is pretty good, but I don't think that's the name of the game. If you get to a point against Druid where all you're doing is reacting, that's not going to be a good time.
Yeah,
You want
exactly.
to get to the point where you're being proactive, forcing the Druid to react to you, and then using those removal spells to protect the board, and instead of trying to stay alive. So, Twilight Drake's very helpful in that. It's a big minion. Killinnalday's coming up on a ramp turn. No guardian animals in hand. No real minion pressure to play as well. And Muzzy curving into some good things here. Madame Lazul, though, with the chance to hit the wild growth, that's kind of enticing.
What is a loon's will?
I mean, I kind of like the tempo, though, against the Druid, because you're going to have trouble to deal with it. 4-8 is just really problematic. Even if they do ramp, they still have to wait a turn, at least on paper, for the ability to capitalize off of it, so I like it. An overgrowth is spotted here, but Muzzy can continue to capitalize off of it. He finds an Apotheosis, which is hard for Drew to remove, but he's going to start things off with the Raised Dead so he can get his Clerics back.
Yep. Killinnalday just kind of laughing and shaking his head. I wonder what that's for. Is that a, oh man, why did I bring Druid kind of laugh and shake his head? Or if it's a
Yeah.
whew, hit the ramp,
I
kind
asked
of sigh of
myself.
relief, laugh and shake his head. Soul Mirror. Pretty clutch. Always want Soul Mirrors. And yeah, he's just going to push. 6-11. Go.
Yeah, I like this because the Druid can't really deal with it. Even if they do have the Guardian Animals, it's not likely that they can find a way to kill off this Twilight Drake. You would need extra stuff. And right now, Killen can play Overflow, burn a card. Maybe it's better to Lightning Bloom first. So you have extra cards that can potentially be played right now.
I don't know. Like, if you Lightning Bloom, it means you're not playing Guardian Animals next turn. If you draw it. Draws Beast,
Right.
Speaker Gidra, Crystal Power, Innervate.
Okay.
Overdraws Nature Studies. I mean, he's got Broomsticks plus Beast, but no, like, Twilight Runner to draw more cards further towards a win condition. Speaker Gidra, can that do anything?
I mean, it can on the following turn if he picks up a big spell, but until then, he's just going to be chilling and hoping that this isn't going to hurt too badly.
Yeah.
I wonder here if this is the time for Muzzy to actually play Madame Lazul and see if he can, like, capitalize on some of the tools that maybe Druid wants to use against him. Like, if he finds his own, like,
On wings of destruction,
broomstick
they
or-
come.
like any kind of front-loaded ramp that can help him a lot. Another opportunity to really press in here. You can also just use Renew to trade in and then heal up the Twilight Drake. That seems good to me. Power Infusion.
Wow.
Just make that Twilight Drake actually unkillable. You can even go for it right now.
Yeah, I guess so. That is now a 8-17. It's also kind of weirdly enough increases the value of Cobalt Spellkin because an Inner Fire is just. Mwah.
Yeah, Inner Fire is super nutty in this spot.
Gillen has not drawn Guardian Animals and only has... I just have 2 beasts left in his deck. He's got both of his Twilight Runners, which I guess are 2 beasts that you'd like to have. But right now, Killinallday has to kind of be in defense mode. But nothing to really like be defensive with. You Broomstick and Lake Thresher, and then deal 4 damage to this Twilight Drake. Make it an 8-13. You put something in the way and just hope Muzzy doesn't have Cabal Acolyte Wave of Apathy, I guess.
Right. I mean, it all sounds so bad, but I mean, you gotta do something on the board. You can't just leave Priest up with an 8-17 and not try to contest it at all. But it does seem like right now Muzzy is very much in the driver's seat. What can you even really do in this spot here? Muzzy could... The scariest thing is what happens if
A simple spell.
Poison comes out.
You can Holy Smite.
I guess you... Yeah, you just trade and you
There's-
Holy Smite.
There it is, Dan.
The Inner Fire.
The Inner Fire. I think you trade first, though. What does this mean? You Holy Smite? You might even Holy Smite regardless.
What a haste.
Like if it's anything that's killable with Holy Smite. Which that is.
Yep.
Well, he's still firm control of the board. Murzon Soul Mirror in hand to be able to deal with just about anything. Okay, well, now there's only 1 beast left in the deck. There's 1 beast left and 2 guardian animals left. So, that's not good. And this hand, like, there's so many cards, but just a whole lot of nothing going on. A lot of anti-synergy. And again, you know, what's Killen supposed to do? Broomstick and Lake Thresher to deal damage to Twilight Drake? That just seems...
It doesn't seem like it's it.
No, that ain't it.
Yeah, and you know, the hard thing to kind of accept about this current situation too is that you know, it's not like Killen didn't hit ramp, right? Like he hit tools and plays that he could be doing, but it just doesn't seem like it's really working out in this regard. And whew, not really sure what's to be done in this spot here for Killen. He's going to go ahead and try and cleave and hope the best and maybe lower the health total. Oh, he has, he has
12-13!
the Innervate.
That's
and
a clear!
The
He
crystal
spotted a
power.
clear!
Oh, really well done.
Oh, for some reason I didn't. I don't think I was counting Ironbark damage, but I was like, oh, he doesn't clear it. Man, if only he could Murzon. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, that turn cost a lot from Killen, so this is an opportunity
Yeah.
for Muzzy to strike back. But yeah, really well done to find an opportunity to get back onto the board. Muzzy could answer with Aeon Reaver. Chose instead to go for Cabal Acolyte and the Wave of Apathy because he wants to steal his minion and get tempo back on his side. Now back over to Killen, who's kind of back in the same spot, to be honest. Like, yeah, he did stabilize, but still a bad spot to be in.
Yep. Overloaded too, so he can go. Yeah, can't quite kill both these, right? If he goes Speaker Gidger plus Overgrowth, he would have to also use the Broomstick in order to kill off the Lake Thresher. However, he would just have a Speaker Gidger on board.
Nature speaks
Because of the Wave of Apathy, he's been Lake Thresher's pretty low.
Right.
It's just again.
And he gets to hold this excess mana.
He doesn't want to clear the board, I guess. He just wants to kill the Lake Thresher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Muzzy gets to have his own Speaker Gidra this turn.
Oh, that could be really good.
The future is clear.
Thinking about, you know, the value of
That's the one.
The Mind Flayer. Find the Ysera. So he knows about it. He's ready for it.
What is Elun's will?
So Ysera just matches power for power, but it does take up a full turn. And Muzzy doesn't have nearly as much support for it as Killen does with just the sheer amount of draw. So yeah, I was gonna say Ysera I think is too fancy, whereas Broomstick's just good old-fashioned Broomstick, and he can even use it this turn. And if you inner fire,
Yeah, I mean, he wants to get the Skidra out right now because he knows that Killen wants to play the Ysera, and then he could Soul Mirror, and
that's
then
lethal.
Yeah, and then Omega buff the Gidra. This is a really cool setup from Muzzy.
Yeah, no, this is way better because this is a lethal setup.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What to do?
Is that Speaker Gidra with inner fire represents 22 damage. Because the Soul Mirror will come out, it'll go up to an 8/11. And then inner fire means it's 22.
These taunts?
Got me fired up.
Finds one. Well, not the kind of taunt that I think he wanted, but the Broomstick here is also nice. Okay, so we can Lightning Bloom, Hero Power, play the Broomstick, kill off the Gidra, and the Ysera, or sorry, and the Cabal with the Ysera, and then you can Hero Power down the Broomstick. Nice.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
I did like the setup from Muzz.
It was a
It
cool
needed
setup.
Killen to draw a portal. Alright, so Murzon here plays a 4/12 and draws a card. Oh, also a Broomstick. No, only the Broomstick would have Rush in that instance.
You think this is your time? It is mine.
Nika's gonna go for the Murzon and try to set up the similar board to what his opponent had. Having the Ysera with the inner fire is very nice.
Yep.
A little unfortunate that he
Again.
couldn't get the rush.
A lethal setup.
Yeah, that's good. I like the way Muzzy's approaching this matchup. I think he's playing it very well.
Yep. So I like the preemptive inner fire, means that Killen can't trade to reduce the power. Killen needs some big portals here, but even then, like Soul Mirror can punish. He needs rushers on Muzzy's face. Like, that's not according to plan. He's out of broomsticks. Killinalldays Guardian Animals is dead. Malagos, this isn't Malagos Druid, this is just Survival Druid, and because he's got no brooms, he's got no rushers, and Killen is not dead on board. He could double trade into Murzon, and then there's 14. But because he's like trading so much into these minions, because his portals are coming out a little bit at a time, it's giving Muzzy a chance to answer each little bit at a time. What he's going to need is a big push of portals and that are well statted, more health heavy than attack heavy, and survival of the fittest them, and all the while avoiding death.
Yeah.
Time waits for no one.
I mean, he has to address this situation, otherwise he's going to die. So he's going to load up the board as best as he can, trade into the Murzon. 14 power shown. What can Raise Dead do? I mean, Muzzy probably just wants a Soul Mirror in this position.
Yeah. He could.
The nice thing about Soul Mirror too is that
draws cards.
he draws some cards. Gains a little bit of life. Just raise dead first because he will gain life.
Yep. Nice sequencing.
Yeah. Kill him with the nod. Kind of recognizing that he knew this was a likely possibility here.
Draws 2.
I was a little interested by the trade into the Malagos and not into the Flake Thresher with his Wand Maker.
Yeah, that's true, honestly.
I'm kind of surprised that Muzzy opted out of that, considering it seems to be a really nice, clean trade. But, especially if he was going to go for a attack anyways. Okay, he sees the exact 3 cards. Knows there's no real threat, and I think he knows about that trade.
Yeah.
It's
Survival
like,
with the fittest, though. Oh, nope. It's 4 dead cards.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
He knows, like, if killing Drew survival the fittest, he'd be in actually kind of trouble here. Because Killen would be able to actually trade into the Man Lazul and go for a big cleave.
Yeah.
And then he'd give up his entire lead, but Killen doesn't have it, and he drew the worst combinations possible. Things that actually don't do anything.
Yep. 0 beasts. He's got 2 portals, Survival the Fittest, Exotic Meltzer, Overflow, Force Ward Nomu, Numisat Defender, Crystal Power Bark. Yeah. No beasts.
No beasts. And that does seem like it's going to set back Killinallday just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And Muzzy's going to run away with it at this point.
Power Word Beast.
I mean, it's Muzzy's world, and we're just living in it right now.
A simple spell should do.
Put a 3/5 on the board, whatever. Hit it for 16. Another dead card. Yup. Oh, look at it. The symmetry. It's beautiful.
Wow. It's a perfect palindrome of suck. Muzzy's going to win 3-0, 6 wins, as he is the sole possessor of first place by a significant margin in Division A. Not to mention, the standings keyed up even further, TJ, between 4-way tie potential here of our players that are currently in Division A. We have to take a look at the standings. I think that is the case here, since I have an outdated standings graphic on my screen at the moment. And I think that is the case. So Muzzy, first place, 6-1, no hands in Language Hacker, top 3 seeds. We'll have to figure out who gets a tiebreaker for the 2nd seed. But Eddie all the way to Saiyan, 4-7 at 3 and 4. Yep. Do we have to ask, are these the correct standings based off of tiebreakers?
Those are the correct seeding. Yeah, that's the correct seeding.
Oh, and so Muzzy winning was not enough to save his roommate and former teammate Just Saiyan from the relegation bracket, which I wasn't expecting at all, TJ. Saiyan and Bloodyface both are in the bottom of Division A.
Yep. Definitely, unexpected coming into this. Saiyan has struggled at times in Grandmasters. He had a couple seasons that were close calls. Him and Muzzy both didn't have the greatest start to Grandmasters. But Bloodyface is the one that, his dominant performance in Swiss, it's like back-to-back seasonal championships. He's our world championship representative right now for the Americas from the first season of 2020, and now he's up for relegation. Like, that's pretty crazy. And so Saiyan and Bloodyface will play against each other in the first match, and we're almost done with Division B as well. We have one more match for Division B, which is Firebat versus ETC. Firebat's life in Grandmasters is in his hands. If he wins, at least he gets to have a best of 5 and play in the relegation bracket. But if Firebat loses against ETC, it means he's out. Finishes in the bottom 2 in Division B, which means he's no longer a Grandmaster. So a lot of stakes riding on this last one, and I know Rami will be watching this closely because he's the player that takes the spot of Firebat. If Firebat wins, Rami is the player that's automatically relegated, which he actually looked like going into week 6, that he was in good position. He was in the top 4.